Let's talk about it. You used to hang around some dude named Lil Speedy or whatever. What was our relationship like? Because y'all used to be hanging around, being in music videos and shit together and shit too. At one point, right?
Yeah, that was Bleed. Yeah, that was Bleed.
He from the same block as you?
Nah, he from Bloodhouse.
Well, y'all became friends up.
I met his ass from school. He been cool and shit from school and shit. You know, motherfuckers be meeting each other for school and shit like that. Like.
And y'all just fell out and ended up going separate ways type shit.
I ain't got no bad blood before. You ain't got no bad blood, bro.
We seen some posts on some blogs and shit saying that you did take a pipe from him at some point.
Nah, hell no. I just be talking. I ain't do no shit like that. Hell no.
Big Jada showed up on stage with Lil Noonie while he was performing disses aimed at FullyChop. And that moment sent the entire internet into a spiral, because FullyChop was one of Lil 50's closest friends. And Lil Noonie had repeatedly dissed Lil 50 after his death. That's the situation. And to understand why it landed the way it did, you need the full context. Lil Noonie runs with 147, a crew that has been ops to FullyChop's PGF circle for years. This isn't a beef that started over music clout or internet back and forth. The roots go back to real losses on both sides. Members from each circle have been involved in situations that cost people their lives, and the retaliation cycle has been running ever since. When Lil Noonie and FullyChop started going at each other through diss tracks, the online beef was already sitting on top of years of real tension. FullyChop and Lil 50 were genuinely close. They were seen together constantly, moved in the same circles, and FullyChop was around Jada frequently in the months following her brother's death. People who were watching the situation saw what looked like a real bond between them. FullyChop publicly claimed Lil 50 like a brother, and Jada appeared to trust him. That's what made the stage moment so shocking. Jada was not just in the crowd. She was on stage, visibly supporting Lil Noonie while he performed shots aimed at FullyChop. In Chicago's drill culture, standing on that stage carries a specific meaning. You're not a spectator. You're making a statement about where you stand. And for Jada to make that statement with someone FullyChop considered an op, someone who had been dissing her late brother, it was something nobody in that circle could let slide. Rumors immediately started circulating that Jada and Lil Noonie were romantically involved. The internet ran with it, and for the people who had watched Jada publicly grieve her brother, watched her go on live demanding accountability, watched her put money on heads over what happened to Lil 50, the idea that she was now around one of the people who had been disrespecting him felt like the ultimate contradiction. Jada addressed it directly on live. She explained that Lil Noonie had dissed Lil 50 originally because of FullyChop, that the disses weren't personal against Lil 50 himself, they were aimed at FullyChop's circle, and Lil 50's name got caught up in it. She also said Lil Noonie had apologized to her directly and that she accepted it. She pushed back on the idea that Noonie was responsible for anything that happened to her brother, saying there was no evidence linking him and that people were spreading claims without knowing the truth. She also went further. She said she felt like a lot of people who say disrespectful things about Lil 50 do it because it's become a trend. That people who never knew him, who never met him, throw his name around because of the association with FullyChop. Her position was that the people truly riding for Lil 50 were being used to keep someone else's name alive. Not everybody bought the explanation. Fans who had been riding for Jada since her brother's death felt like she had crossed a line that couldn't be uncrossed. How do you publicly demand accountability for your brother and then stand on stage with someone from the opposing side? Whatever her reasoning, the optics were undeniable, and FullyChop wasn't going to let it sit. A leaked audio recording began circulating, reportedly capturing FullyChop confronting Jada directly over the situation. In the recording, FullyChop was clearly heated. He wasn't just frustrated about the optics. He was calling it what he felt it was, a backdoor. In his view, Jada had been around him, had been tight with him in the months after Lil 50's death, and had seen him grieve alongside her, and then she showed up on stage with his ops. In the audio, FullyChop threatened to smack Jada over moving with his enemies, making it plain that what she did was a direct violation in his eyes. He wasn't just talking about music beef or Twitter back and forth. He was saying she put herself in the middle of a real situation by aligning herself publicly with the other side. The internet had mixed reactions. Some people defended Jada, saying she has the right to make her own choices and that nobody gets to dictate who she's around. Others felt FullyChop's anger was understandable, that the timing and the public nature of it showed a level of disrespect that went beyond a personal disagreement. Then the Clubhouse call happened. Jada and FullyChop ended up in a live audio confrontation, and the whole thing came out. Jada went off on him, accused him of not doing anything when Lil 50 was being pressured, of ducking calls, of claiming the name and the loyalty without actually showing up when it counted. She questioned his credibility as someone who called himself Lil 50's brother. She said she had called him and he had avoided her. She was not holding back. FullyChop fired back. He reminded everyone of how close he had actually been to Lil 50. He pushed back on the idea that he had been absent. He made clear that the problem wasn't just that Jada made different choices after her brother died. It was that those choices directly impacted a real situation that had nothing to do with personal feelings. Moving with his ops had consequences in his world, regardless of what the relationship between Jada and Noonie was. At some point in the confrontation, Jada flatly called FullyChop a fake friend. That was the breaking point of the conversation. She said he had been claiming loyalty to her brother, but that his actions didn't match the claim. She made it clear that she was no longer concerned with what PGF or anyone from that circle thought about her decisions, and that nobody from that side was in a position to dictate what she did. Now separately, Lil Noonie had his own moment to address the beef. In an interview, he pushed back on the narrative that FullyChop had turned him up through the disses. He said, "If you actually listen to the songs and understand what's being said, you know who came out on top." He said he had only dropped 2 tracks into the situation and felt like the response spoke for itself. His tone throughout was calm, measured, confident without being loud about it, the kind of energy that lets the music do the talking. The situation, as it stands now, is tangled in multiple directions. You have a generational gang war between PGF and 147 that predates anything involving Jada. You have 2 men on opposite sides of that war going at each other publicly through diss tracks. And then you have Lil 50's sister, the person who became the public face of grief after his death, landing squarely in the middle of it by aligning with the opposing side. Whether Jada's explanation holds up depends on who you ask. Her argument is that Noonie wasn't genuinely targeting her brother, that the disses were always about FullyChop, that Lil 50's name got pulled in by association, and that Noonie addressed it with her personally. The counter-argument is simpler. He still said what he said, it still disrespected her brother's name publicly. And getting on stage with him sent a specific message to specific people in a situation where messages carry real weight. FullyChop's position is also straightforward. He doesn't see this as a personal disagreement between him and Jada about feelings or choices. He sees it as her putting herself in a situation that has nothing to do with music or social media clout. And in that context, he's responding to what it means in the world he actually operates in. This is not a beef that cools down quietly. There are too many layers, street history between the crews, the death of Lil 50, the public money Jada put on heads, and now her visible alignment with the other side. Every one of those things feeds the next one. The internet is watching closely. The streets already know what it means. Drop a comment. Do you think Jada's explanation makes sense? And was she wrong for getting on that stage